Greetings, all human beings. My name's Rhymes, and today I'm going to be talking about Vergil's power. But before that, there's something I need to say. Well, a few things really. But first things first, I was planning on doing a Son of Sparta playthrough as Vergil for Devil May Cry 5, but unfortunately, it seems that my computer just isn't capable of recording it with any sort of consistency. I tried every single recording software that I have, and it just doesn't work. And if it does work, then the frame rate isn't super consistent. Um, and this is with me using Devil May Cry 5 on lowest settings and all this other crap. It's really damn unfortunate that I'm not able to do a Son of Sparta playthrough of Devil May Cry 5. I seriously wanted to do it, but I just can't. One day, though, one day, it will happen. So, back to Vergil. If you have watched my video on Dante's power, then, well, basically the same sort of feats and scaling can be applied to Vergil because they are virtually identical. However, Vergil has a few things that's a little different from his brother. Firstly, Vergil might actually be faster. Um, Both of them do, in fact, have infinite speed. They are faster than teleportation. They move in zero time. Even though Vergil teleports all the time, he really doesn't need to teleport because he's faster than it. I guess he just does it for fun and style. Anyway, so how can someone have faster infinite speed? Your guess is as good as mine. It's just a higher end of infinite speed. The second thing that Vergil has is his doppelganger. He doesn't really have a double trigger form in Devil May Cry 5. It's just a doppelganger. This enhances his power a little bit, but not all that much. So that's cool. He has a friend to help him out. And the last thing about Vergil is his sword, the Yamato. The Yamato. The Yamato is one of the most broken video game weapons out there. I think there might be some weapons out there that are even more broken, but the Yamato is kind of absurd. It is a katana that has been described to cut through the fabric of reality and dimensions and other crap like this. Like, this is some weeb shit. Like, this is a weeb's a wet dream that is so sharp it cuts through anything. Um, but yeah, the Yamato is not only one of Virgil's most powerful weapon, probably the most powerful weapon he has, it's also an incredibly useful tool for him because he uses it to transport all the time. Like, he can just cut a hole in reality and move wherever he wants to go or needs to go. That is some crazy shit. It also means that this sword ignores conventional durability. I mean, Vergil in Sin Devil Trigger already does that. Same thing with Dante in Sin Devil Trigger. But the Yamato does it without needing Sin Devil Trigger. If someone like Vergil, Dante, or even Nero, if they're able to use Yamato's full power by putting their demonic energy into it, then it doesn't matter how much defense their opponent has, it's gonna get through it. That's crazy. That is a crazy, crazy hack. If you were able to remove an opponent's durability, that's absurd. Anyway, how powerful is Vergil in Sin Devil Trigger? Well, he is multiversal. He scales to Dante very easily, and I don't think he's stronger. I don't think he's weaker. I think he is dead even. Vergil might have slightly better speed, but both of them have infinite speed, so speed is irrelevant when you're talking about them fighting to each other. Anyway, so another thing I have to cover is, are these characters complex multiversal? So what does that actually mean? Because some people might not know. Complex multiversal describes a character or characters or objects or whatever, just let's say a character, that is higher levels of infinity, said to be like equivalent to 7 or 9 spatial dimensions. The Devil May Cry characters are not that powerful. They're not. They are not complex multiversal. They are definitely multiversal, but they're not complex multiversal. They could probably destroy a decent amount of universes, maybe like 3 or 4, but like they're not just because they can affect infinity doesn't make them higher dimensional. Just because they are able to stop opponents that are like distorting space-time or all that other stuff doesn't make them higher dimensional. You know who is complex multiversal? Super Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker Xeno Vegito. He's complex multiversal. But Vergil, Dante, and Nero? No. They are definitely multiversal, at least Universe Plus. So, yeah. These characters are very, very strong. But come on. They're not that powerful. Anyway, final power scaling for the Alpha and the Omega, the deadbeat father Vergil. In base, he is definitely universal. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He is definitely universal. Possibly Universe Plus. Same thing with Dante. In Double Trigger, it's sort of difficult because he doesn't really have a double trigger transformation in Devil May Cry 5, the most powerful version of him thus far. It's mostly just a doppelganger. It doesn't reduce his power or anything. It's basically just making another him. So that's cool. But what does it mean for his power? I think it slightly augments his power and speed, and durability, but not really by a noticeable amount. So I'm gonna disregard it. It is definitely a good trick. Making a doppelganger yourself that mirrors your actions and everything and can go do something else while you're working on one thing, that's definitely a very useful thing for Vergil in battle. And in Sin Double Trigger, definitely multiversal plus. He's multiversal and possibly a bit more than that, but he's not complex multiversal. He's not a 7th dimensional being. He isn't. He doesn't scale to that. Anywhere near that. Because that is like 5 more levels of infinity. Or 4 more levels of infinity. Which is like 4 nth null if I'm doing that correctly. I think I am. Nth null is basically just another way of saying more than an infinity. Either way, his speed is definitely infinite, possibly at a high degree. Also, Yamoto has never let him time travel, so I can't even say he has immeasurable speed, but his speed is definitely infinite in a high degree. So yeah, Vergil is quite the powerhouse. I mean, everybody knows this. Vergil is very, very strong. He scales very wonderfully to Dante. Who do I think is more powerful? That is a tough call. They are, I'm just gonna, they're even, like, they really can't, you know, beat each other because they're equal. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little video of me power scaling Vergil, and I hope you agree with me because, again, these characters are not higher dimensional. They don't scale to that, anywhere near that. I don't know why so many people think they are 7th dimensional, like 7th dimensional beings. They're not. And for the love of God, don't say Marvel vs. Capcom is a good scale for Vergil and Dante. No. Come on. It's a fighting game. Everybody's equalized. Fuck's sake. Yes, I've heard people actually say that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, in Trilby, we trust.